Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skysworld.com for life coaching and mentoring. I got a list of 5 questions, the biggest questions that have ever been asked. These are questions that we've all pondered. Most people don't really have answers for these, so I'm going to answer them. Let's talk about the first one, which is, who am I? That's a question we've all asked. We've sat in the mirror, wondered it. Who am I? Maybe you get to a point in midlife crisis and you wonder, who am I? Maybe you're 22 years old and you're wondering, who am I? Some people are really solid on who they are, and I find those types of people really interesting. You know, you decide who you are. That's how it works. You decide who you are. But here's the problem with that. You can just be really firm and pound your fist and walk around and say, this is who I am, and kind of force yourself on others. And there's a lot of people out there doing that right now, trying to force their identity. That's what we're talking about, is your identity. They're trying to force their identity on others. And you can try that all you want. I've tried it. And not everybody will accept it. Some people don't accept that. And they roll their eyes at who you think you are. Your parents may roll their eyes at who you demand them to think you are. You're demanding the world to think that you're this type of person, and people may not really care. They may not buy into it. So our identity absolutely is who we choose to be, but the world doesn't always accept us for who we choose to be. So what do? It's like a careful wrestling match. There's a little to and fro with it. You do have to course correct. You do have to adjust. You may have adopted a persona that comes across as an asshole. People don't like you. So what do? You can be lonely and be an asshole all by yourself, or you can course correct and adjust your behavior and be humble and look within and say, okay, maybe that wasn't working. So identity is definitely a source of suffering for people. And I think that the problem with it is that some people get really firm in their notion of who they think they are. And then the world doesn't accept them for that. I think that's the problem. I don't think it's as much of a problem to just be lost. And someone asks you, who are you? Who are you? And you don't really know. And you're like, I don't know, just some guy from Pennsylvania or Ohio. Who you are isn't where you're from. Who you are isn't your job. It isn't the clothes you wear. It isn't the music that you listen to. Your identity isn't your fashion or your politics, your little temporary set of beliefs. You can be really firm on your beliefs. Oh, I used to be. I used to be so a matter of fact in what I believe. I was so political. You caught me 20 years ago, all I talked about was politics. 20 years ago, if YouTube would have existed, this would have been Ben Shapiro, and that's all this would have been, is a political channel. I would get on here and just tirade and rant, and I thought I knew it, the whole thing. I thought I had everything figured out. I was so goddamn smart, wasn't I? Anybody who knows me, you remember, that's not who you are. You changed. I've changed. I'm 51 now, and I've completely changed. Bottom line is, when you ask this question, who am I? You could say, I am Sky. You identify with your name, with this person that your parents created. Who am I? I'm the person my parents created. I don't know, you look at your photos and you identify with this timeline of people that you kind of remember being. Who am I? You get up to the pearly gates, if you're lucky enough to get there. You go through that tunnel when you die. You go through that tunnel, you see the white light at the end. You're going to be asked this question: who are you? And you might get up there and say, yeah, I'm Sky, white boy from the streets, west side, you know. Wrong answer. Wrong fucking answer. The eternal answer for this is I am. Who am I? I am. I am the eternal I am. The story of creation, I'll give it to you in 15 seconds. All there was God. That's all there was. There was nothing else. There was just God. God got bored. Got bored of just being by himself all the time. No entertainment, nothing to do, no one to talk to. Boring as fuck. So he divided himself into the everything that is, into what the Buddhists call the 25,000 things, although there's probably more than that. He divided himself into all the different things, all the different people, all the different creatures, every single thing that existed. Just as a game. It's a thought process. To keep himself from being so bored, but it wasn't good enough. Because he still recognized that he was just playing a game with himself. So he went one step further. He's God, he can do whatever he wants. He had every little component, every little piece of himself forget that they were a part of God. Forget. Every single component of himself has no idea who the fuck they are. They have no clue. Completely lost all memory. They have no idea that they're leaves on a tree, that they're connected somehow to this greater being. They have no clue. I don't know. It's all food for thought. We're going to go over tomorrow the next one. I got 4 more of these. We're going to do 4 days in a row. The next is one of the biggest questions that's ever been asked. The first one is, who am I? We'll go to the next one tomorrow. Tune in.